Hi, greetings. Welcome back to Barbie Talk. It has been 5 months since I've been on, and I'm sorry about that because my YouTube videos decided to shut off on the audio.
And I am David Hunter's cousin, here for Barbie Talk.
And we're excited to show you something for Christmas today. My cousin David knows how much I love Barbies. So, out of the kindness of his heart, he got me the Barbie movie Barbie that was played by Margot Robbie this summer. I think she's gorgeous. I really love the pastel colors of the 90s. The realistic hat, the sky blue pumps. And what's really neat though is that she does have painted on fingernails. And her wrist can move like she's waving.
Hmm.
On the back of the box, in the background is her dream house, and it's all pink because that's her favorite color is pink. So tonight we're not just going to talk about the Barbie movie. Sorry, doggy.
Another dog.
Another dog. We're not just going to talk about the Barbie movie. We're going to talk about diversity and differency of ethnicity in Barbie over the years.
Because we have multiple Barbies here today.
We do. We have the new 2023 Glitz Barbie of the African American tribe. She uses the Carnival head mold, which is from Brazil,
So
in
it's a unique
2005.
head mold.
It's a very unique head mold. It's not used very often on African American Barbies
Or just Barbies in
or
general.
Barbies in general. She wears a sequin dress with a ruffle on her chest, and she has a necklace. She also has clear pink bubblegum shoes, and if the camera can focus, she has pink eyeshadow and she has two-toned brownish rusty color hair. And her typical articulation for a doll, she just moves at the head, shoulders, and hips, and that's it.
So Barbie, as you probably guys know from the movie, her actual name is Barbara Millicent
Millicent.
Handler. And she was named after the creator Ruth Handler's daughter. So that's where the nickname Barbie's really a nickname. Her actual name is Barbara.
By the early 1900s, when toys were becoming popular, baby dolls became more for girls to show them that, if you're going to have a baby doll, you're going to have to be a role model of a mom, a mother, where
Mm-hmm.
the dad goes to work and makes all the bread money, while the wife has to stay home and take care of the baby.
So there weren't really many options when it came to dolls for girls back then. It was just having a baby doll was
Mm-hmm.
really all the only option you had.
So by 1954, Ruth Handler went to Germany, and she went to an adult sex shop where there's this girl named Bill Lilly, a novelty for adults. And the reason why she was for adults is because she had a bigger chest and slender hips and more of adult features on her face.
So was that a doll before Barbie, or was
It was a
that?
doll before Barbie, and so by 1958, Ruth Handler came back to America
Mm.
and wanted to create Barbie. So then in 1959 at the toy fair, she showed everyone what Barbie would look like, and she got in a lot of trouble by men saying, well, Barbie's breasts are too big, or that's going to be so inappropriate for children, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
sex symbol. That sex is against women. How dare you, show off women like that?
Hmm. So that one Barbie, I guess, was really a predecessor. Though actually, she wasn't a Barbie. The one doll was a predecessor to all the
Hmm.
Barbies, and just inspired Ruth Handler to think differently.
Because Ruth Handler saw her doll, her daughter playing with, paper dolls, and Ruth had the idea of, my daughter's playing with paper dolls. Why can't I not make a doll that's just, that's not just for baby dolls? A doll that can have a career, a doll that can have it all, the money, the fame, everything that she dreams and desires of.
Mhm. So it really made people think differently, because Barbie at first she started only kind of being somewhat stereotypical, not having
Mm-hmm.
all these different diverse like career choices and that. But
Mm-hmm.
slowly over the years they started different Barbies with varying careers, and they started Barbies who were different ethnicities and also like
Mm-hmm.
friends of Barbie, right? Like what did you say her name was? Christine?
Christie. So
Christy?
by 1961, Barbie had a boyfriend named Ken, and because Ruth, and Ken was actually named after Ruth's son, Kenneth.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
So, and then by 1963, Barbie got a new friend named Midge, and Midge was the first doll with freckles and a red hair.
Hmm. And then wasn't there also Brad who was Christie's?
Brad is later.
Okay.
So then by 1965, Barbie got a new body with bendable legs because children wanted a doll with more posability and more fun to play with.
So would the legs not even bend at the hip
It
back
was
then?
just like this back then, the hard plastic
Uh-huh.
legs.
But they didn't have the hip joint, right?
Oh no, they did. She
Okay,
can
they
only do
did.
this and this back then.
Yeah. Hmm.
So by 1967, 2 years later, Ruth Handler updated Barbie with a twist and turn waist and a newer face mold, a more of a teenager looking, like instead of like an adult looking, more like a teenage look.
Interesting.
A year later, Christy Christy came on the scene, and she was Barbie's first African American. However, in 1967, her cousin Francie was from England, and there was the first Black Francie, and that got in trouble because it's still during the Civil War of civil rights.
Yeah, civil
I
rights.
have that right to be this.
Yeah.
So Mattel took off the Black Francie off the market. So then, 1968, Barbie got a new friend named Christy.
Huh.
Christy was actually known as Talking Christy, and she's very hard to find. And if you ever buy her on eBay, she's rare to talk because she's so old and delicate.
Really? So I assume she's sought after by collectors, right?
Exactly. Sorry, my feet are
Hmm.
sleeping.
So not only is there Black Barbie, obviously, or African American Barbie, but there's also Christy, who is Barbie's friend,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Midge, who didn't seem to fare too well, right? In modern day, there's really not any
Not
Midge
really.
dolls anymore.
However, in 1975, Christie left the scene for a couple years until 1977 when she was at Return of Superstar Christie, but she's the Barbie head mold. She didn't have her own head
Oh.
mold.
Okay, so she was just literally the same Barbie, just with a darker.
Darker skin tone.
Interesting.
So by 1980, Mattel released the first Hispanic and the first African American Barbie for different, ethnicity of cultures.
Teresa was the.
So in 8 years later, Teresa first came back on the scene as Barbie's Latina friend. And what's so interesting is that Christy came back, but with a newer face mold, with a newer head mold.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Midge came back, however. Midge came back with the Steffi head mold, which is a more straighter face with pursed lips. Like,
Mm-hmm. And Midge, as you guys may know, was the discontinued Barbie, the pregnant Barbie from the movie.
2003.
Yeah. And then there's also Skipper, who was not in the Barbie movie, but was referenced in the Barbie movie at the end credit scene. Who
Mm-hmm.
was Barbie's younger sister, right?
And she was introduced in 1964.
1964. Okay, so that was a long time before they did, African American Barbie, Latino Barbie, right?
Right. Different diversities.
So in 1980, was Latino Barbie still called Barbie, or was
It
she
was
called
just,
Teresa?
it was called Barbie.
Okay, so
On the
there was
box was
first.
Hispanic Barbie, and then the African American one was just Black Barbie.
Interesting.
And the thing is, with Black Barbie, she came with an afro, just a natural hairstyle of afro, and then the Hispanic Barbie came in like a southwestern style, like a New Mexico style type clothing, where Hispanic people were living.
Hmm.
And then by 1986, Barbie got her new Asian friend named Miko, and she was known as Tropical Miko, and she was Asian and Island Pacific, or like Hawaiian.
Huh. Miko was her name?
And so by 1990, Miko was discontinued and was replaced by Kira. So in the 90s, there was some diversity, like Chrissy, that's an African American Barbie. Your Teresa doll, that's your Latina Barbie. Kira, that's your Asian Barbie.
Oh.
So not a whole lot of diversity yet.
Yeah.
However, by 2016, the new fashionista line came out with the first tall Barbie, the first curvy Barbie, the first petite Barbie.
Really? What year was that?
2016. So just
2016.
recently.
Yeah, so almost 40 years after they started the different ethnicities,
Hmm.
did they have like different body types of Barbie?
Back then, no, it was a very thin waist, and a lot of
Yeah.
people criticized Barbie of having a thin waist, saying that my daughter or my son who's going to play with Barbie is going to have an eating disorder just like Barbie.
Yeah, like the proportions just were very not attainable. They weren't very.
In 1988, Barbie had another friend. His name is Steven, and he was actually another African American male.
Really?
And so from this day, from 1988 till now, he's still sold.
Steven? I wonder why he wasn't in the Barbie movie. Maybe in Barbie 2.
Probably, but he's
Yeah.
not as probably the popularity of him is not
Uh-huh.
as high as Christy.
Uh-huh. So, and then Ken's just always been Ken. They haven't had too many iterations of Ken, right?
No. In 1992, there was a Barbie that got in so much trouble called Teen Talk Barbie because her phrase was, math class is tough. And the
Yeah.
reason why is that is because people in 1992 thinking that, well, women should not be talking like that because women are stupid. People were targeting it as saying, well, how dare Barbie say that girls are stupid, that we can't do math.
Yeah.
So that Barbie got took off the market like that.
Yeah, because women's rights activists, I assume, were not too happy about women, a doll
Well,
saying they
in
were
my
good at math.
opinion, I think when Barbie said math class is tough, I think what she meant was math can be tough. It's
Yeah.
not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think people at the time kind of blew that out of proportion of, well, why would Barbie say I'm stupid? Well, how come Barbie would say my daughter or my son is thinking that girls cannot do math?
Yeah.
And that's not really the point. But in a way, I can see their their point of
It being taken the wrong way.
right.
Yeah. So then, has anything happened either in between the 1990s and 2016 with Barbie? Or,
Yes,
what?
there was a Barbie in 2010 with a video camera on her back, and however, that got in trouble because people were hacking into the camera and showing provocative photos on the Barbie.
Really? So was that the Barbie in the movie that had the TV screen in its back? So was it a screen in its back and it had a camera up
in
front,
her chest.
right? Really? That was 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought that would have been a little bit older.
Barbie came out with some new friends in 2000s. Like 2002 was Kayla, which is a darker skin complex of a Hispanic Barbie.
Okay.
And then there was Leah, Leah, which was Asian. She was Asian Oriental, and she was continuing after Kira.
Okay. And Miko.
Mm-hmm.
Miko was the original, then Kira, and then
Leah.
And
then in 2006, Christy left the scene. Christy was quit being made, so then Nikki came over, and she's another African American Barbie. But I think Christy is a lot prettier because Nikki has more of a cartoonish face and more of a like a very deeper smile than like a natural smile because Christy has more of a natural smile than that.
So the doll you have over here is Christy, right?
Yes, or African American Barbie.
Okay.
And I think that's really cool. Is that I think what's really neat is that now today, I think with more diversity of Barbies, that boys can also play with dolls just like girls can play with boys' toys. I've always agreed with that. I've always had that point of view. If it's okay for a girl to, I want to play with action figures. I don't want to be, a teacher, or I don't want to be
a lawyer,
or anything like that. But I think what's weird is that some people believe that if a boy or if their son likes Barbies, then they're going to turn into homosexual, or they're going to be, wanting to wear the dress as well.
Yeah, or picked on and all that kind of stuff.
In my point, if my son wants to play with Barbies, it's like, well, then fine, play with them, have fun, enjoy.
Exactly, and that's very much how your mom acted. When you were playing with Barbies.
That's exactly how my mom acted. My mom was open to anything.
And because she thought that meant that you would treat women better if you played with,
Exactly.
female dolls, because
Exactly. Because some men in this world that do not have that training thinking that, oh, it's okay if I get angry and hit them and get away with it.
or objectify them.
Or make fun of them saying, oh my god, this woman's a teacher. Wow,
Yeah,
really?
belittle them. Yeah,
And I
and
think that's why Barbie's an important role in men and women's life is that she can just say, you know what, yes, I'm a girl, but I'm also inspiring this person to be just like me.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's great how Barbie's had so many different careers, and they've
Mm-hmm.
done so much different with Barbie. The whole 2016 having different body shapes for Barbie, I think that that was a big step forward, because I do think that Barbie's typical proportions and how she looks so tall and has those pointed feet, is classic. But I do think that it's important to also represent for other people.
And there's also a new Ken doll with a prosthetic leg. I think
Really?
and there's also a Ken doll in a wheelchair.
Huh.
And I think that's amazing that because some men can be in a wheelchair and they can have their own doll of, yes, I'm in a wheelchair or I have a prosthetic leg. There's also a Barbie with a prosthetic leg. There's
Yeah.
a Barbie with hearing aids who's deaf.
Really?
There are Barbies who have vitiligo, like the Ken doll.
Who have vitiligo? Really? There was a
And
Ken doll.
I think what's really amazing with the 2020s so far is that Mattel is seeing that, not everyone has the same, just because you're Hispanic, African American, whatever, you're not the same. You can have
Mm-hmm.
vitiligo, you can have prosthetic legs, you can be in a wheelchair.
Yep. Diversity is important. It's good to be inclusive.
It is, and it's came far from compared to
Yeah.
59 till now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
back then, Barbie was $3,
Really? Yeah.
but back then that was a lot of money. That was
Mm-hmm.
probably about $15 for today,
Mm-hmm.
in today's money.
Yeah. If not more than that.
Probably a lot more.
Well, I mean, are you talking about the 1980s or 1960s?
1959.
1959,
So
yeah.
at the end of the 1950s, when moms and dads were, moms stayed at home and did all the cooking while dads were at work making all the money.
Uh-huh.
Type diversity.
So what year exactly did Barbie?
March of 1959.
1959. Huh. So it
And
has
we also
been.
have tall Barbie because not all women are small. There's tall girls too.
So is the tall Barbie looks even taller than the Barbies? Because Barbie in general, I think, looks fairly tall, right?
And fairly tall without heels.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I definitely would like to see the other different body shape Barbies as well, because I've never really seen those. Yeah.
I think it's really amazing what Mattel has become.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was watching YouTube one time and I was watching a commercial about my first Barbie for preschoolers, and there's this little boy playing with the girls with Barbies, and I think that's good that they're getting more opening wider for not just for girls. It's not just a girl's toy; it's for anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
I mean, if you have a son that wants to play with Barbies, open up to him. Say, okay, but
Yeah.
why would you want to play with Barbie? Well, what makes you, what inspires you?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't just say, well, I'm sorry, that's for girls.
Yeah. And I think that it helps people, or young people gain those social skills and kind of have those, playtime interactions that really benefit them later on in life. And not just an action figure that looks all buff and they just try and shoot each other and punch each other. I think that Barbie
Mm-hmm.
really does have a different kind of perspective, and it teaches people different things.
There's even a police officer Barbie.
Really?
And I think what's really amazing that over the years is that women got more careers in the 1970s until before, like even World War II,
Mm.
that women, had to stay home and be the mom and be the cook and be the cleaner,
Mm-hmm.
basically be the maid while the dad or the male was at work, making all the money and supporting that household.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are we supposed to, and by the 1970s, Barbie took that direction of let's go to work, women. Let's make these women go to work too. We have that
Mm-hmm.
right to be in the office as well as men.
Yeah, and it makes sense because now more women are in college than men. So I
Exactly.
think it's
Because
important to.
Barbie has inspired boys and girls around the world that that women can also work just like men. And
Mm-hmm.
that happened in the 80s too with Day to Night Barbie. She was
Mm-hmm.
a businesswoman, but then at night you can change her dress into a nightgown for the
Yeah.
night on the town.
Okay, yeah. It's like a night dress or like a clubbing dress.
It was
Yeah.
pretty. It's impressive how far Barbie's changed after 65 years.
Yeah. I think Mattel has done a good job. And I do like how in the Barbie movie they did reference how Barbie seemed very sexist and kind of ruined it for women, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote. But I do like how they handled that in the movie where they were like, okay, some people have that perspective, but also she can be seen as empowering for women.
And then
Yeah.
and what I don't see what the difference is that the Ken doll, he's a boy doll. I don't understand why some dads would say, "Oh, well, that doesn't matter. He's still part of Barbie,
Yeah.
and he's still GI Joe, for example. He was a doll.
Yeah.
So what was the only thing is that he was made by Hasbro, not Mattel.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really not too many differences there.
No, and the thing is with typical GI Joe was his stereotype was all men are buff and all men have to have this muscles. Some
Mm-hmm.
men are like me, very curvy, very tall bodied, very round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's great to be inclusive.
It is. I think that now we have more. We even have more diversity with adults now with ethnicity. There's not just Asian, Caucasian,
Mm-hmm.
Latina, or anything. We also have Asian. We also have Middle Eastern. You know,
Really? Do you know when the Middle Eastern Barbie came out?
this year, and I have it at home.
Really? Do you know what her name is?
No, but she's Middle Eastern, and I can. And she has there's a new body called the athletic body. And when
Huh.
you take off the clothes, you can see the ribs, like you can see all the muscles.
Really?
So it's not just a slender body. It's not just a little petite
Yeah.
body. Everyone has a different body size.
Yeah, that's huh.
There's a made to move Barbie that's curvy, and that means her hips are curvaceous
Yeah.
than normal Barbie.
Hmm. Do you have any of those Barbies? No, not yet.
I have the made to move Barbie, but she's not the curvy.
Yeah. So like a skinnier made to move Barbie?
She has a normal body.
Yeah. Huh. The typical Barbie body.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Um, by 2001, Barbie got a new body with the belly button because Mattel was getting ready for diverse of boys have belly buttons, so do girls, and so instead of a twist and turn waist, it's just a slender a normal body.
Yeah. I think that's a small detail, but an important one. Adding the belly button, you know, just add some of that realism. Yeah.
Because in 1963, Mattel got in trouble that there was a Barbie fashion pack and it came with a scale and it said -1 on it. And it says how to lose weight, and the book says don't eat.
What? When was that?
1963.
Oh, okay. Well, at least that was 1963. That
But
seems
see,
pretty.
if that was today, that would have been dangerous because girls can, people can be very cautious about, their body looks and their images.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
Barbie had over 480 careers.
480 careers.
Over 400.
Wow. That's
That's
cool.
empowering.
Yeah,
Do you think this is going on YouTube?
I think so.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say? Do you think we should wrap it up?
I think we should wrap it up, and Merry Christmas, and I'm glad that I'm going to be back on YouTube,
Yeah,
guys.
you'll see plenty more of Hunter with his new microphone as well.
Yeah.
And
He won't be here because he doesn't live here.
I do not.
But he was a special guest, so that's good.
Thank you.
And have a good night.
Bye, everybody.